Hey guys, so I'm coming to you from my porch, and I'm not trying to make this an ASMR video, but I do have neighbors. So I'm gonna talk a little bit quietly for this video. So since we filmed on the west side, a few people have asked me to talk about the house that I lived in across from the Baker building. That was the first home I bought, and it was originally owned by my grandparents. The home was built in 1960, and actually it was owned by another Mexican family before my grandparents bought it. The other family only lived there for a couple of years, and there was someone that actually died in the home. It was an older grandma, and the very back end of the home used to be a bedroom, and when my grandparents bought it, they turned it into a kitchen. So the woman that died in the home, she actually died in what is now the kitchen. It used to be a bedroom. So like I said, I bought the home from my grandparents, and nothing really had happened there until my grandpa passed away. And then things kind of got weird in the house. I don't know if you guys can hear, there's like a thunderstorm going on right now. And incidentally, I want to call this series of stories that I'll be telling campfire stories, because they're kind of stories, ghost stories that you would tell around a campfire. So it's kind of like a perfect setting right now, so you can maybe hear the thunder, and there's some lightning off in the distance. If you can see it. I'm just sitting on my porch here, but so anyways, the older woman had died in what is now the kitchen, and I'm gonna put a picture of this home in the thumbnail. And the people that bought it from me actually still live there, so I don't want to give out the exact location because, again, I don't own it anymore. But for those of you that are familiar with the west side of St. Paul, it's on Bellow Street between Page and Sydney, right across from Baker Playground and Baker Park, and the community center at the bottom of the hill. So that's where it is. And so let's see, where do I even start? There's so many things that happened in that home. One time, my kids were out they're really little, they're out in the backyard on a trampoline that we had set up. And they were just jumping, whatever. I think I was just in the living room cleaning, doing whatever. And my son had come in, and I think he was like 5 or 6 at the time. And he asked me who was over the house, because he had seen an old woman looking out through the window, exactly where the woman had passed away. So I don't know if that's what he saw was a spirit, or if he was just seeing things, but it was really odd that he actually said that he saw an older woman in the window right where the lady had passed away. And then another thing that's really, really creepy is, I don't know if you can see from the thumbnail picture of the house, it's a rambler, but it's built on a hill, so it has like a tuck under garage and like a basement that's built into the side of the hill. And so when we would go in the house, we would always park in the garage, and we would pull straight into the garage, and then you'd be in the basement level, and you'd have to walk up some stairs to get to the main level of the house. So you'd get in through the basement, which was the street level. So one night we did some grocery shopping, me and my ex-husband, who used to live there with me. And you know, it was always kind of a struggle, because you'd have to pull into the garage, and then you'd have to carry the groceries up the flight of stairs. So we were doing that. It took about half an hour to get all the stuff out of the car and put away, and we had decided to go and kind of watch a movie and whatever, just chill for the night. It was like a Saturday night. So there was two separate light switches, okay? There was one at the bottom of the stairs that you could turn the light on to go upstairs, and then there was one at the top of the stairs in the kitchen where you could turn off the light from that area as well. So it was two switches that operated the same light. So after we had brought all the groceries up from the basement, I know that I shut the light off from the top of the stairs, okay? So it was off. Putting the groceries away, whatever, I kind of walk by the basement door and I see that the light is on, but, okay, the switch at the top of the stairs was still off, okay? So that told me that something down the basement had turned the light on from down there, okay? So I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, maybe I just forgot to turn it off, whatever, right? So, I flicked it off again from upstairs, and at that point the light switch was up because I was shutting it off in the already off position from upstairs. So I flicked it up and it shut off, okay? And so, you know, I went and sat down, started the movie, whatever, and one of us wanted popcorn or something, so I got up, went to the kitchen, was getting popcorn, drinks, whatever, walked by the basement door. Lo and behold, the light was on again, okay? And again, the switch was in the same position I had left it, which told me again that somebody or something downstairs had again turned the light on, okay? So now I'm freaking out. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Is there a short in the light? So I, you know, was messing with it up there. Sure enough, it turned on and off just fine. There was no problem with the light itself. So I completely freaked out. We ended up calling my dad, who lived about 5-6 miles away. And I was like, Dad, there's somebody in the basement. They keep turning on the light. We keep turning it off and it keeps coming back on. And it's not coming from the light switch upstairs. It's coming from down the basement. There's somebody in the basement, whatever. So my dad drives all the way over there, okay? He shows up with like 2 like steel baseball bats. So him and my ex-husband like were flipping out, and they each took a bat and they went downstairs and they were like trying to clear every room in the basement. It had a lot of rooms. There was like a laundry, there was the garage, of course, then there was like a hallway to a creepy like back little room area where it was just a bunch of storage. But it was a lot of my grandma's things still in there because I had purchased the home from her and she kind of left everything, so it was a lot of old like antique stuff, whatever. So they cleared the whole basement, couldn't find anybody in there, okay? My dad left. We tried to just chill and watch the movie, and, you know, we were just thinking, whatever, you know, we didn't know, we couldn't explain it. So, then, now this is an old house. It had like creaky stairs from the basement upstairs. They had like a little tiny layer of like outdoor carpeting on them, but you could still hear it when people were walking up the stairs. So we're sitting there, okay, and we hear footsteps walking up the stairs. So I kind of like froze. I couldn't even catch my breath. I was so freaked out. And my ex-husband went over there and looked, and he's like, there's nobody here. Nobody. So I don't know if that was just like my grandpa just kind of visiting the home, because he did live there for many, many years and he had just recently passed away. I don't really know. There's really no explanation for it, but that's what happened one time. So another thing that happened, it's actually really, really, really disturbing, scary. It just gives me chills to think about it. But so the house, like I said, it was built into a hill. It was just one story, but it was up high because it sat on a hill. And it had a big bay window in the living room. So It kind of overlooked the street and the yard and everything. And it was again on the weekend. We were just, me and my ex-husband were sitting, just watching TV like a normal night. And he kind of looks, it was nighttime, he kind of looks over at me, he's like, do you get the feeling that someone's watching us? And I was like, of course I start getting freaked out. I'm like, okay, now that you say that, you know, of course I wouldn't think that. He's like, I just get this feeling that something or somebody's like watching us. It's really beginning to come down now, right now, you guys. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but so, it was winter, okay? It was like dead winter in Minnesota, where we had like a foot of snow outside, okay? There was tons of snow. It was super cold, like below freezing, whatever, you know? And he just looks out the bay window, pitch black. But in the light of the street lamps, he caught, so scary, he caught this little boy, okay, peeking around this pine tree we had right in the front of the yard, off to the left of the house. This pine tree. And so he kind of caught this little kid like peeking around the tree and like looking in the window at us. And he's like, oh my God, do you see that kid or whatever? And I'm like, I didn't see him at first, okay? I was just like, oh my God, you know, what the hell? Why is this kid like outside in the middle of the night? And I'm like, what does he look like or whatever? My husband's like, he looks to be about 8 years old. And he goes, there's no explanation for why he would be out here in the middle of the night by himself. And I kid you not, I was looking to try and see if I could see this kid. And both me and my ex-husband saw at the same time. He comes darting out behind the tree, okay? Runs right past our window. We could see him plain as day with the light of the street lamp. He had shorts on with suspenders and a button-down short sleeve shirt, okay? He had boots, lace-up boots that went like past his ankles. You guys, he was flying a kite. I'm not even kidding. He was running across in shorts and a t-shirt, like clothing that looked to be from the 1800s, okay? Flying a kite. There was no wind. It was the dead of night. There was no wind anywhere. And he was flying a kite and it was up in the air like it was the weirdest. It looked like, literally, like it was some sort of like lapse in time. I'm not even kidding. We tried to follow the kid and see where he went. Literally, as soon as he got to the bottom of the hill in front of our house, vanished, gone. There was no trace of him, nothing. You guys, we went out to the yard just to double check. There was no footsteps in the snow. Nothing. It was as if this kid had floated above the snow. It was the weirdest thing, okay? So creepy. And so we were really, really, really creeped out by that for a while, and we were talking to our neighbors about it, and they actually said, you know what? They're from Peru. And in their culture, if you see an apparition, especially a child, if you see them in the same spot more than once, that is an indication that there's something buried in that spot, like a buried treasure or something of value, and that you're supposed to dig. They're trying to tell you to dig and, you know, find what's buried there. So we looked for that little boy again, you guys. We never saw him. Never saw a trace of him again. So I don't know what that was, but it was not from this time. It was from another time. I don't know how we saw it or what happened, but that was at that same house. So I hope you enjoyed the stories. There's more. I'm gonna make a series of these, I think, and just call them Campfire Stories and film one for you every once in a while. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.